I've been asked to make an introduction, not introduce the discussion on the Krishna, just explain what he's going to be talking about. A number of, I guess weeks or months ago, during my Yas Puja, we made a request to members of our congregation to, help us in a different way. We're talking about manpower. We're not talking about money right now. Don't worry. The wallets are safe. So we're talking about manpower, woman power, people power. That we have so many things going on here, such potential. Sometimes I walk around the property and I see that so many things could be done. There's a great potential here. And of course we have this elaborate worship of the deities, the cooking for the deities, a lot of prasadam being distributed, potential of more preaching programs, more harinams, more festivals and everything like that. And so I requested devotees to somehow or other organize so that we can fulfill the potential that we have here in Goloka. This is a very important area in North America. And more and more people are moving to this area too. I was just reading the other day that Apple Computers is setting up some sort of headquarters in the Raleigh area, is that right? RTP area. And so more and more people are moving into this area, and it's probably one of the best areas in the world to live in. It's true, it's at the top of the top. So we want to be able to fulfill that potential and to please His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in the way that we can maximize that potential. So the Dakshinanda Krishna is helping with this organization right now. So we ask you all to listen and try to help in whatever way you can. And Srila Prabhupada and Krishna will bless you. Okay? Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So, as Maharaj said, we are going to be looking at today some of the key accomplishments, some of the key highlights. Okay. So, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to look at 2022, look at some of the highlights of 2022, some of the key accomplishments that we have had by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and we'll just do a quick reflection on those. As Maharaj said in his class last week, that when we start a new year, it's a good opportunity for us to reflect on things that we've done and then also look forward to what we need to do in this upcoming year. So we're going to talk about some key highlights. We'll talk about establishing, this is actually a kickoff to establish that kind of a plan for 2023. What are we going to be able to do in 2023? We'll identify some growth opportunities, and we'll talk about how we can organize ourselves to be able to accomplish what we are looking forward to accomplish. So one of the key things to begin the key highlights of 2022 is in our DD worship area. We have had for every single day of last year, every single day, 365 days a year, we have had 5 aratis, 5 bhoga offerings and shringar twice a day for every single day without missing a single day. Every single day. Which basically comes to over 1,800 aratis in last 1 year. More than 1,800 bhoga offerings and 730 shringars that we have done in the last whole year. And in addition to that, we have also had some devotees who have taken second initiation and have now qualified as pujaris. And so I think we have Gopinath Acharya Prabhu and Pratnavadani. I think I saw them somewhere here. He's right here, Gopinath Acharya Prabhu. Let's give him a big clap very well. And Manohar Gopal Prabhu is in the back. So Devi Mataji also. So these devotees, by their sincere service, their sincere and dedicated service to Srila Prabhupada, by their patience over the years, they have been able to get to this point where they got themselves qualified, they got themselves initiated, and now they're going to be serving in this DD worship area as we go forward. We've had grand festival celebrations. Janmashtami was one of our biggest festivals. We've had over 5,000, 6,000 people come up. That's been a grand festival. And we've had Deepavali Puja, we've had Govardhan Puja, and so many more festivals that we've celebrated. Shri Gaura Purnima, huge, grand festivals. Large amount of visitors, really nice mood, setting up the whole program, really, really nicely done. Number of devotees have given us really good feedback on the way these festivals were conducted. And we said, and the visitors actually gave us some good feedback on how things were organized and how the mood was set up for those festivals. We had Bhagavad Gita classes weekly, in person as well as online. And we had about 5 different devotees doing these Bhagavad Gita classes, and that is 5 devotees times about 52. That gives us more than 250 Bhagavad Gita classes. If you're looking for a Bhagavad Gita class, you cannot miss an opportunity to just plug yourself into any one of them. We've delivered over 250 Bhagavad Gita classes last year. We have BKG Academy that was going on, and in BKG Academy we now have grown to 18 students, and that includes all the students from kindergarten all the way up to high school. Big Hari Bol for that. We've done Vedic Yagyas, a number of yagyas done in the temple as well as outside the temple. In the temple we've done for Tulsi Salingram Vivaha, we just in December, the Gita Jayanti Yagya, and so many more yagyas and festivals that we've done. And outside, people request us for Graha Pravesh Yagya. There's a number of them. People request us for weddings. And so we go out there and we perform weddings and we do the yagyas there. A number of different Vedic yagyas have been done. We've had dance and drama classes. And those dance and drama classes have been going on, and a number of children, a number of them have been educated on the various steps of the dance, the various different dance types, and they have performed in various festivals. Our Sunday school children, Sunday school is becoming really, really key to younger children to understand our education and our message. And we have expanded to 3 batches, and we are now at 50 children. Let's give a big loud Hari Bol to the Sunday school. We have preserved and distributed Vedic literatures.
So we'll make a formal offering next week or the week.
Okay, so we do have a large number of books out there. We have hidden that from you on purpose. We will make that offering to Srila Prabhupada, and that's where we will disclose the number of books that were distributed. Our spiritual weekly classes at local universities. So we do have a local base now at NC State. And we do weekly spiritual education in NC State. That is, a number of students at NC State take advantage of that, and they participate in these classes. And we introduce physical, emotional, and spiritual support and care. And we've introduced that concept, and today we get to hear about what's our plan to implement that. So those have been the key highlights of 2022. And I have to say, I must say this, that all of this is possible only because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We are extremely indebted to him. We are so grateful to him. If Srila Prabhupada had not taken that journey on Jaladuta and come here and give us the message of Krishna consciousness, we probably would not have been here. But it is only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we have been able to accomplish what we were able to accomplish. Another thing about Srila Prabhupada I'd like to share with you is back in the days when devotees used to distribute books, and they used to come and report scores to Srila Prabhupada and say, Prabhupada, you will give us a goal of X number of books, and we did Y number of books, which was greater than what Srila Prabhupada asked them to. And they were thinking, okay, Prabhupada will be so happy. And Prabhupada said, yes, good. Now double that. And so in that instruction, Prabhupada did something amazing. He did 2 things. First of all, he acknowledged the contribution and the service of those devotees, and he obviously applauded them. And then the number 2 thing he did, the very next instant, is he set forth a new goal. His mood was keep going further, expand, reach out, do more. That's his mood. And so Srila Prabhupada established that, and he continued on saying, okay, you did that? Great. Now double that and go forward. And all the devotees would go crazy. Like, oh my God, Prabhupada, you asked us to do so many this last time. We didn't know how to do it. Somehow by your mercy we did it. Now you're asking us to double this. How are we going to do it? But it's the endeavor of the devotees. It's the endeavor that actually counts. Srila Prabhupada's mercy will be there, but it's the endeavor that actually they put in and they were able to accomplish. And today we see ISKCON growing in so many different ways. All of this is because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. His divine grace of Vaishnava with the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki! So continuing in that mood, and the instruction of what Srila Prabhupada gave us is to say, now let's go double it. Like, okay, what are the growth opportunities that we can identify? So we will be looking at, this is, as I said, this is Kickoff. So we're going to introduce a number of things here and see what we are going to accomplish. So we will need to see what kind of incremental goals we can accomplish for the 2023 in key service areas. There are so many more opportunities for devotees to serve. So if you have served in certain capacity in any of the key highlights that we talked about in 2022, there's going to be that and more opportunities for you to get engaged and serve. And then in order for us to grow and expand, it's going to require us to organize ourselves in a certain way. And so we'll talk about that. When we say we need to organize ourselves, it's a collective-based service. We all need to come together so that we can kind of have the mood of serving together, right? And so in that group, when we form that group, it's basically known as a committee. A committee, as a word, may mean different things to different people. And so we're going to throw out all the complexities related to the word committee out of this room. We're going to keep the definition very simple. And the simple definition is a group of people who work together, who serve together to achieve a common goal. Do we all have a common goal? Yeah. And therefore we can all come together and we can form a committee and we can serve towards the mission of Srila Prabhupada. There's a number of advantages in getting ourselves organized in that way. The first is that it's more of a participative. We are all doing it together. It's balanced. It's not like there's one or two or three devotees who's carrying like 80% of the workload and all the other devotees, while they are engaged, are basically carrying maybe 20, 30, 40% of the workload. So we are talking about a balanced service where we all take different areas of service and we are able to execute them, and we are able to do that kind of a service in a very participative manner. And when we get together, one of the first things we would do is we would establish what's our plan, what's our goal, what are we looking to accomplish, what are our objectives, why are we doing this kind of service that we are doing, where do we currently stand, what are the improvement opportunities. Those are the kind of things that we talk about and we establish these goals. And when we do that, we find that in these groups, the quality of decisions that get made. Sometimes we deal with complex problems, and so one person dealing with a complex problem is different from 5 or 6 people dealing with a complex problem. You have so much brain power coming out, and so we'll be able to address those in a committee. What it does is it reduces bias. It reduces anything that that may be oriented towards in one particular solution when it comes to solving a complex problem. It helps us to bring that commitment to implement our goal. And that's what we're looking for. We have set out a certain goal, when we will talk about it, we'll set up a goal for a certain committee, and then from there we will have how do we implement those goals. That's the commitment that comes. And along with that comes the responsibility, is to observe service continuity. There are services that go on. We have a number of devotees, as Maharaj said, there are people moving out, like they're moving in Apple into RDP. And there'll be like about 20,000 families who will be coming in from Apple. So they're going to be needing some kind of a service, like Graha Pravesh is a good one, for example. We received a number of requests for Graha Pravesh yagyas and pujas. And so how do we get ourselves organized in such a way that we can make sure that our service continues? Because a number of devotees are going to be doing a number of things. It's not possible for one person to be able to do every single one of those things. So that's the advantages of organizing ourselves in these committees. Now we at New Goloka, we have certain services that can be organized in these kind of committees. So we have an outreach committee, and I'll talk about the various kind of initiatives and services that we do as part of the outreach committee. Then we have festival management. Here's where we talk about how we conduct festivals, what kind of programs that go on. We have a needy worship committee, and this committee has actually already kicked off from the last quarter, and we have addressed what the current challenges were. We have addressed how we solve them. It was done as a group, and we saw how it could be, how the improvements could be made, and we are continuing to do that. So DD Worship Committee is kind of already going on, because this was like the number one priority from last year. So in Q4 2022, this was already kicked off. And then we have temple facilities and maintenance, which we'll talk about further on in the slide. It's basically talking about how we can maintain, how we can beautify our environment so as to make this a more attractive place for us and for everybody else. Continuing on with the core committees, we have gift shop. We have a gift shop going on downstairs right now, and that requires a whole set of services that that needs to be invested into for it to be keep on going. We have child protection team, very, very important. Child protection team is absolutely key. We do need to have this service so that it is for the protection and the well-being of our children who visit here. We are very, very serious about child protection. BKG Academy is absolutely equally important. We talked about BKG Academy earlier. We have a number of devotees who are actually going through that as we speak. And then we have temple finances. And we have, as any organization, there are finances, and then we need to make sure that we are, accounting for it, taking care of it, addressing it. That was one of the things that Srila Prabhupada also mentioned to us. So let's talk about the outreach committee. In the outreach committee, there are a number of different initiatives that we do, so that we can reach out to the people and share with them. We have Harinam, so we have Drishna Prabhu and Rudrani Mataji heading up that Harinam. So the Harinam actually goes out. We have Bhakti Virkshas that are being done on so many different places. Temple management system is to have a system where we keep a central place for all the information and the data that's out there. Birthday blessings is something that we started last week, and I mentioned that earlier. Social media, this is actually a key one. Social media is one of those key set of platforms which allows us a great opportunity to reach out to the people where they are. See, we are situated here, but there are people out there who are situated and they exist on this social media. So this allows us a great opportunity to reach out to where they are. There are people hungry for encouraging content and genuine wisdom. And we have vast amounts of content and wisdom that we have received by our acharyas. And so this is an opportunity for us to go and reach out. We have a little bit of Facebook going on right now, but there's so much more opportunity on Instagram and Twitter, and we can all talk about that. So there's going to be a whole service area for social media. And again, this social media, when we put it out there, it is going to require some thought. Who's the demographics that we are reaching out to? What are their needs? What are they looking for? It's one thing to basically have a personal social media account and I can take pictures and tag people and make comments and like photos and things like that. But it's another thing to have a social media for an organization like ours. We need to have New Goloka as a brand, and we need to see what kind of a message are we going to put out there that's going to help people and eventually get them attracted to us. Devotee care headed by Uchula Mataji is something that we introduced last year, and in a few minutes we are going to hear from her on the plan for how we're going to do to implement and how this is going to help and benefit every single one of us who's devotees in a number of different areas. Youth groups going on, Vedic Yagyas I mentioned that's going on. Local areas outreach is a key one. Now we have some programs going on in Greensboro, we have some programs going on in Cary, but why limit to just these two places? Why not Durham? Why not Winston-Salem? Why not every other city that you actually live in? Why can we not have some kind of an outreach program going on over there? And within Cary itself or within Greensboro itself, can we have more number of programs? We have a model that has been established. It has been tried. And we can share it with you. And we can help support you. And so we're looking forward for people who can come forward, look at doing what we can do in that local areas outreach. And by us organizing in that way, we'll be able to reach more and more areas. And then there's community parades, which actually kick off during fall and winter time frame, and also in spring. There's Western outreach that's going on. Also, the objective there is to reach out to the Western audience. And then we have Sunday program and Sunday school that goes on. Here's a Sunday program that we do on a weekly basis, and the Sunday school that attracts a number of younger children, and then we provide them the opportunity to educate in our various scriptures. And then we have book distribution, and so for that I'd like to request Aditya Prabhu to speak a little bit about book distribution.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your enthusiastic and inspiring presentation so far. It's always so nice to hear all these projects going on. And really, I feel like, wow, so much is happening. Let's be a part of it. How can I be involved? And the whole point the presentation is here is to give everyone an opportunity to actually take one step further, get involved, participate, and see how we can grow. So regarding book distribution, just briefly, I want to say we're going to have some subsequent meetings of how we can actually grow in book distribution, how we can implement book distribution in this year. In the previous 2 years since COVID started, our main themes of book distribution has been the December marathon, where we actually focus on distributing Bhagavad Gitas, and the Bhadra Purnima campaign, where I actually focused on distributing Srimad Bhagavatams. And pre-COVID, we actually had weekly book distribution program, where anyone could say, okay, once a week, once a month, I will come out, participate. We had children's Sankirtan. So we are now planning to restart all these, and we have a separate WhatsApp group for this. It's called the Team New Goloka. So if anyone would like to participate, please join our WhatsApp group, and we'll be sending out messages. Please join our meetings. We'll have a meeting not this week, the week after that, and we'll be sending out a Zoom meeting. So please join online and see how you can participate. As Prabhu actually said, how Prabhupada said, whatever is our score, we want to double it. So we really want to grow in our book distribution. Yeah, and festival management committee. So, like Prabhu in the starting, he actually talked about Janmashtami, how it was so wonderful. And frankly, I would say my whole experience with Janmashtami festival was I was just amazed to see how devotees were coming, forming a group, taking care of one seva, and just oh yeah, they have done the whole seva. It's just it was just magic happening. It was really so wonderful, and that's when it was just realization that when we come as a team, so much can be accomplished. We had one team who came, took care of on the whole Harinam booth area. Everything was there, everything was taken care of, so nicely organized, it was wonderful. One whole team came and they took care of prasadam distribution, the mass prasadam distribution. One team, they said, okay, we'll do the Govinda's food court stall, right? They took care of that. And we had so many different teams, and everyone was doing their part, so much enthusiasm, so many ideas, and it was just like a success. And that's what we want to see for now all the different areas in Goloka. Okay? So this is a very interesting festival management committee. You can join the committee. We'll be discussing new ideas for the festivals. We have at least one major festival every month, and our first one coming up is going to be Nityananda's Trayodasi on 2nd of February. So we can already start discussing okay, we have our Abhishek, we have dance and drama. How can we make it more wonderful, more exciting for the pleasure of Sri Nityananda Prabhu? So we need all of your inputs, your ideas. So there's this festival management committee, and the way it will work is we'll be doing calls before the festival, 3 weeks before the festival. A Zoom call, you can join, you can share your ideas, and then we'll have a team who will actually help with the execution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ravi. I'd like to request Mother Leela Shakti, would you like to talk about the deity worship committee?
Hare Krishna. Also, I'd like to just say thank you to everybody for such a wonderful last year of 2022. It really was remarkable to see how so many people decided to come forward and contribute in so many ways to the wonderful mood and all the programs at New Goloka. It was very inspiring, and it continues to be inspiring as more people come forward to express interest in not only deity worship, but all things related to direct deity worship, maybe indirect deity worship, such as anything having to do with keeping up Krishna's temple room, helping out in different ways with maintaining and cleaning. And I think Mother Jayarani is going to talk a little bit about that, but deity worship is really a central activity here. And only by the deity worship Srila Prabhupada has prescribed to us. It's a very purifying activity that allows us to dive a little deeper in our devotional life and our practice of bhakti yoga, so we're able to understand a little bit more how Krishna's pleased. And of course he's pleased mostly by our devotion, but as we go through and we partake in deity worship and all things related, that's how we're purified, and we can little by little practice on how best to serve him. So when we have the opportunity to go home, go back to Godhead, we're able to be square on what's required with that. So as you serve here in New Goloka, and Krishna will reciprocate with you in that way with your sincere service, and also as we or as you try your best to serve the deities and little by little approach them in a more intimate way, that's where deity worship comes in. So I encourage everybody to make that a goal in their life. I remember reading a long time ago in Prabhupada's literatures how important it is in our spiritual life to participate in the worship of the Archa Vigraha, form of the Lord. So I encourage everybody to make incremental or quick steps to try to do that, because it's a very wonderful opportunity for all of us in our condition here in this life to be able to serve the Lord in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. So that was the deity worship committee. And now let's talk about the temple facilities maintenance, if I may request Yadurani Mataji. In temple facilities, we're talking about two key items. One is the building maintenance, the other one is just landscaping. And again, all of this is towards the beautification of our entire dham. So, Mataji.
When Prabhu started this presentation, the first thing we talked about was the number of artis, the number of offerings, the number of addressing the deities. And as we know, we're only here because of the deities, and they are the most important. And it was wonderful last year, but that is one seva that has been seriously done since 1985, ever since the deities came here. And Maharaj has been relentless in that. It doesn't matter if there were 1, 2, 5 devotees, that seva has to go on. And they're the most beautiful, and those are they are the center of our life. And it's easy for us to understand why the altar has to be beautiful, and then why the temple room has to be beautiful. But I find it a little sad that we don't seem to understand that the whole dham has to be beautiful, because this is all in the service of Shri Radha Golokananda. And next time you come in and park and then look, don't just look at the dome, which is beautiful. Just look. Do we have curb appeal? Does the garden look welcoming? We know why we come here, yes. But, first impressions are very important. Most of us have been here a long time and we just love everything. But one of our purposes is preaching, inviting guests. Every week we ask, how many new guests do we have? Somebody who's never been here. So we need to look at it from that perspective and say, okay, I'm a new guest today. I drive up. What do I see? Do I see a beautiful, immaculately kept garden that leads us up to the temple? So we've been making a lot of progress. Just last year we see just that little garden at the fountain is looking very attractive. That garden behind where the Tulsi house is, Mother Urmila personally takes care of it. Okay. The reason our bathrooms are clean is because Mother Urmila personally takes care of it again. Now, is that the job of our senior Prabhupada disciple? You know, it bothers me, but I can't take it. I'm sorry, but what I'm getting at, she likes it, but she's happy doing it because she does it for the, you know, with the lordship and focus. But still, you know, there are a lot of things that need to happen. I'm sorry, I'm taking long. So I was asked last year, towards the end of the year, to maybe at least try to organize some of these things. And one of the highest priorities was the garden. And then there are a lot of other things, is, you know, how it looks. And then with the, I did send a message out when I was first asked, and then some devotees approached me, and Hari Venu Prabhu came up and said, well, I don't like the way the the steps looking, going up to the temple look. I need to paint it. I want to paint it. So, got Chris. Our dear Chris here has been really, Chris Prabhu, he's been working hard at anything he can get to fix things. So, we need to figure out what's wrong, what are the things we need to be fixing. We have some priorities. I've talked to Maharaj, Madhuromala, Leela Shakti, and we have some things that need to be done. But like I said, the most important is the garden, and now spring is coming. So we need to start planning now so that when things start happening, we have some things in place. So we need volunteers. Prabhu is going to talk about volunteers and how he's going to manage that information flow. So we need volunteers for that. And right now, Chris Prabhu has been working very hard at the painting, but he can't do it alone. So our immediate need is to paint this deck. Please approach Chris Prabhu. Chris Prabhu, please. If you can take 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week, whatever you can do, please do. I know everyone has a life, but the only successful life is the one that is in the service of Krishna. And as somebody who has been in the movement 40 years, had children in here, grown up, had a career, worked through, and am now retired, it can be done. It really can be done. It just has to be a priority. Okay? So just set yourself a goal. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, in addition to the 4 hours or 3 hours that this program is. Sunday program is important, and one needs to attend for sure. But in addition to the Sunday program, please take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever you can, and do something that interests you out of this unlimited number of services. I'm sure Prabhu's not covered everything that needs to be done. There's something else that could be done too. So please, and with that I'll leave it to Prabhu. We're going to make this temple premises and the grounds not just maintained, but beautified. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Mataji. So we talked about a number of different committees, number of different initiatives, a lot of different sevas. But if I were to look at, where would we prioritize? If we were to think about prioritizing something, what's going to be when do we start these? What's our schedule looking like? What do we want to focus on for this year? We see what we've done is we've pulled out the service areas which we feel are the topmost priority to be able to address that within this year. And there are 7 of them. All of them need to start this year and this month and go for the rest of the year. Starting with social media outreach. We talked about how social media is a powerful platform to be able to get out there, put on a message that is consistent with the new Goloka branding and attract the people who are looking forward for some kind of a spiritual wisdom. We have Festival Management Committee, Prabhu talked about, we have a number of festivals lined up this year. Let's get together. Let's talk about what those festivals are, when are they lined up, and what kind of celebrations are we going to do. Let's take it a step forward. If 2022 was grand, let's make this grander. We have book distribution. A number of books being distributed. Let's see what we can do to increase that book distribution. Local areas outreach. We have right now, as I mentioned, programs going on in Cary and Greensboro. Let's see if we can do more. Are there more areas where we can do that kind of an outreach? Daily worship, Leela Shakti talked about, there's help that's going to be needed in the daily worship area related to either the altar service or the kitchen or the cooking or anything of that nature. Jadrani Mataji talked about temple facilities, that's an absolute priority for us. And then finally, gift shop. The gift shop has right now so much more opportunities for doing so many services related to sales, the procurement, the inventory management, the accounting. All of those things are to be done in the gift shop. So we have these key priorities that have been identified that we want to get started with right away and plan for it, establish a goal. For each of these ones, let's come together, let's do some thinking, let's put our heads together, and let's come up with like a very simple one-page template, charter template. And that basically identifies what's the objective, what are the key services of what we're going to do, what are the improvement opportunities, current challenges, and then identify the goals for 2023. That's kind of where we want to get to. Let's identify our goals for 2023, and then let's see how we are going to be able to put a plan together that we will accomplish these goals as we kick off in this whole 2023 year. And so one of the things that we have done thus far, as I mentioned, is the devotee care. And so in the devotee care, we have addressed some of these items. We kind of have a plan for what we want to implement in this 2023. And I'd like to request Ujjwala Rasinghe Mataji to please come forward and share with us the plan for wholesome devotee care.
Srila Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, pronounce to you all. We are going to be very quick. It's a long program. To make it short, wholesome devotee care. This is a humble service attempt to bring our attention to the individual care for all of us, the devotees, who are already in ISKCON and who are coming to ISKCON. And we started this last year, brought the education in, the awareness in, and this year we're going to do the training so we can implement that in our day-to-day life. What is this wholesome devotee care about? What is it that has to do with us, with each one of us, to care for ourselves? We are here to practice bhakti, and we want to practice it steadily, peacefully. So what can we do about it? To take care of our physical health, and emotional health too. We tend to focus on spiritual health, which is very good. That's why we are here. Harinam, Nam Seva, Dham Seva, and then Krishna Katha, Shastric study, all that. But to bring our attention to our physical health also, and also emotional health, a big one. When we practice bhakti, during another nivritti, a lot will come out. So how to manage that? So we can practice bhakti peacefully, steadily. So this wholesome devotee care is about this, about our individual health. So all of us can practice bhakti peacefully, happily. That way the whole congregation can be like that, and the whole ISKCON can be like that. So our plan for 2023, as given there, in the physical health, we are coming up with the yoga and pranayama session for about 8 weeks. Registration is happening. We'll be there downstairs for more information. I'm just going to brief it up quickly here. After that would be Ayurveda, physical therapy, chiropractor, and acupuncture. Information about all of this, the resources, and for you to practice daily at home too. And after that is emotional health. How to take care of our emotional health, and anything related to our day-to-day life. How to take care of our children, how to raise them as good devotees, and in the outside world too. How to help them face the challenges they have at school, and education for parents, and then couples. So all these things that we need in day-to-day life, all those things will be addressed in the emotional health by experts So education will be given, and you will be having contact numbers to get more information. And finally, the spiritual health is Krishna Katha, Nam Seva, and then Dham Seva, as all the devotees were talking about, direct deity services and Dham services. All these Vikas and Krishna Prabhu has already mentioned, and all those opportunities will be coming out. So the last chunk will be taken care of automatically. The Harinam is happening, and services opportunities are here. But the first two of it, our physical health, our emotional health, as we do our bhakti. So that will be the focus, and we will be giving you the necessary support that you need. I guess I'll pause here, but an excellent one. The definition of committee was wonderful, Prabhu. And all of us, the devotees coming together like this, and we have a vision, and we have the opportunities up there to serve, is very encouraging. Very encouraging. So, thank you, Prabhu. Yep, this one, yeah. So, this is starting next week. Registration is happening. All you have to do is send your email address to the email address there, wholesomedevoteecare@gmail.com. Will be downstairs for you to give you more information. And that's the information about yoga and pranayama. They're going to teach us the basics and the advanced ones too. I'll save the details for later. I'll give on this one. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving that nice synopsis of wholesome devotee care. So what's our next step? Where do we go from here? Did this all make sense to everybody? We are looking forward to do something in 2023. Are we willing to put in that endeavor? And we are seeking the mercy and blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So, what are the next steps? What do we need to do from here? So, first thing is that we are sincerely requesting you, every single one of you, to commit to one or more of these services and the committees, the initiatives that we just talked about. For each one of them, right after this, we'll schedule meetings, Zoom calls, we'll get together, put our heads together, identify basically where we are and where we need to go, and establish that kind of a pathway, a roadmap, if you will, and establish those goals for the year 2023. That's going to be immediate next step right after this. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is all the services that we have talked about thus far, whether it is related to deity worship, whether it is related to the festivals, whether it is related to the outreach, or whether it is related to temple facilities, anything that has been mentioned is all for the pleasure of Sri Sri Radha Golokananda. Sri Sri Radha Golokananda ki! Srila Prabhupada, once he walked into a temple and he was introduced to the book distributors, and Srila Prabhupada was talking to those devotees, and they said, Srila Prabhupada, they are distributing so many books, this is what they're doing. And Prabhupada said, yes, great, that's the most important service. And then Srila Prabhupada went forward, and then he was introduced to the pujaris and said, Prabhupada, here are some of our pujaris, they are taking care of the deity service. Prabhupada said, yes, great, that's the most important service. And then Prabhupada goes down to the kitchen, and then in the kitchen, he is introduced, Prabhupada, these are all the devotees who are cooking for the deities. Great, that's the most important service. And then, he leads up to Prabhupada. This is the team who's taking care of our accounting and our finances. Great, that's the most important service. Devotees are wondering, what is Prabhupada talking about? Everything is most about Prabhupada. I'm sorry, I can't understand. How do we understand? And Srila Prabhupada gave this wonderful instruction. He said, every single one of that services, they are all at the same platform because they are all going for the pleasure of the deities. And therefore, every single one of those services is the most important. So let's have that mood in mind. No matter which service we are engaged in, that service is the most important because that's what is going directly at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Golokananda. Haribo! So with that, Mother Leela Shakti Adityanand Prabhu, myself, we'd like to thank you, and we are looking forward for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj, so that we can serve all of the devotees, all of the visitors who come to this temple, and establish an environment which is a growth kind of an environment, which is where we are looking forward to. The way for you to sign up, every single one of you should have a phone on you. Yeah? Yes? No?
Yes.
Let's get those phones out. Yeah, this will be the time we get it out. You can point your camera to this QR code, and it should come up with a link that says open in a browser, whether using Safari or Chrome. It says open in the browser. There should be a link that comes up. Everybody, scan this QR code on your phone.
I posted on new color.
Okay. And then the form that comes up, please fill out that form with your contact information and those 7 different areas that we talked about. And please identify one or more of those areas that you can help with. And at the end of the form, it's an open area. If there's any other service you'd like to help with, please feel free to put that in. And we also have that link of that form on the new Goloka WhatsApp group, so you can use that as well. And so with that, again, I'd like to thank you all for your time. I'd like to thank Maharaj for providing us the opportunity to be able to serve in this capacity.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vikashananda Krishna. It was an inspiring talk, and hopefully everyone's inspired to serve. And if you serve, you get the blessings of Prabhupada. Everyone's asking for blessings. Well, it's not just like raising your hand and getting some magic shakti from the hand. But you get the blessings by showing your sincerity and devotion. But whatever you're going to do it with devotion. That's the main thing. Do it with the idea to please Krishna and to please Prabhupada. And then it's very, very valuable. And Krishna never forgets. It goes in your eternal bank account. So, thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada.